All right, it's Ron Goodall, FightHype.com. I'm here with my man Brandon Adams. How's it going, man?
Everything is going good, man. The year started. Got some stuff looking forward to make it happen. So I'm excited.
I'm just gonna jump right into it. The last time the fight fans saw you in the ring, you were fighting an undefeated fighter, 18-0 from Ukraine, ranked number one in his country, Boyacek. And I couldn't help to say or see that he's fighting Fedor for a title. And obviously I know the inactivity and the things I'll probably ask you. And it's just what happened from there where you should be in the title shot and then he's there. Like just I guess break all this down for me. Like as a fight fan.
Uh, all right. So you're right. I was the only guy to beat Chuck, and I beat him in good fashion. I mean, I stopped him. I'm the only person to do so. Uh, Leading up to him being able to fight for a world title and me not being pushed, that's completely out of the fighter's hands. It's not on the fighter. It's always up to the promotion. I don't know exactly what happened there, but I do know he's built himself up. Excuse me, he's built himself up to being able to fight for a world title, which I think is extremely good. It's good for him. It's extremely good for me, uh, and how he carries himself to become a champion. You know, that's gonna be good because it can come back full circle. Beating him, maybe he wants to avenge his loss, his only loss. Hopefully, he does want to avenge it, and he gives me the opportunity to fight him. I'm looking very much forward to that.
Like you talked about, like after the loss, he built himself up by fighting like Aaron Coley and Nathaniel Gallimore. And so, I mean, are you picking him to beat Sebastian Fedor? I mean, in this sense.
I know Surrey is pretty tough. I know he's a real tough guy. I think stylistically, I believe he can beat Fandor, but we don't know what Fandor has been working on. I think Sergey Boychuk is tough. He's been pretty tough. You see how he fights. He has to be tough. He has to have a certain tenacity about himself to get in the ring and fight the style that he fights, nonstop, high level energy, the volume punching. And Fandor is known for bringing a high volume of punching as well. But I think Sergey Boychuk tries to be explosive with the punch combination he brings. Not saying Fandor don't, but I just think that as far as that goes, the edge would tip in Sergey's favor.
Okay. And obviously you mentioned that if he wins the fight, I'm sure at some point he would love to have an opportunity to avenge his only loss and by it also that loss that was pretty devastating, when I watched that a few years ago. And I want to just come back and focus with you. Um, I'm sure there's a lot of changes. I noticed you got the Wise boxing hat on and Wise Owl and just what from then and now has changed where we can probably potentially see you back in the ring.
Uh, I think honestly, man, there was a lot of things that goes on in boxing that the regular fan don't know. Uh, Promoters, boxers, they don't see eye to eye. If they don't, not just saying that anything bad happened between the promoter nor the fighter. It's just promoters have tons of fighters, and me just being a fighter, me being one fighter, I'm looking forward to getting in the ring. I want to fight. I just had it's a lot of momentum. Me beating a Sergey Boychuk, uh, and that momentum wasn't capitalized on. In my opinion, it wasn't capitalized on. Uh, I'm always looking forward to fighting. I have to always stay in shape because I never know when I get the call. So, as a fighter, my job is to make sure that I'm always prepared and ready for a fight. Uh, but I also know that there's opportunities where there's a missed opportunity where promoters uh, they don't work out a deal. As far as me going, me being a fighter, like I said, a fighter's job is to prepare to make sure that they're doing everything in their power to make sure not only that they're prepared to take a fight, but ready to win the fight. And, that's why I've been able to, even though I've had hiatuses, these big layoffs, I've been able to come back, not only look sharp uh, mentally, but physically. My body looks good. It looks preserved because I always train. I don't. Some would think that I live a pretty boring life. I just train. I go to the gym. I work out. Uh, a crazy number of hours throughout the day, and that's what I do. I opened up my own gym. I'm pretty successful. Uh, I've opened up the gym with a lady by the name of Coach Cam. She's my business partner. We got a lot. We got fighters that's coming up. There's a lot of people who helping us build this union, this family at the boxing gym. I'm pretty grateful. I'm honored to be able to do so. And by showing that, I train even harder. I stay even hungrier. So when these opportunities come, I'll be ready.
Absolutely. And I couldn't help that even then, just going a little bit further in your resume. Another guy who's, you know, dramatically have built himself back up from the loss from you, is Shane Mosley Jr., who's also, beating guys like Gabe Rosado and surprising some other guys. And I noticed that you put a little fist pump, like a rooting, like, you're very
Yeah.
happy to see that. I know you guys were on the Contender Series and it was just competition, but um I'm sure at some point he would like to get maybe a get back, with you, or
I
maybe
doubt
not.
it. No, the reason why I doubt it, man, is because that was the absolute only reason why he and I would ever fight each other. It
Wow.
was just because of the show. Um, yeah, I think that was like pretty much like a one-time thing ever happening. Cause he and I, we value our friendship, and in the fight game they'd be like, "Oh, friends fight friends." We know that exists, but truthfully, that gets in the way of a lot of things, and there's no way you could beat your friend. You become friends with somebody after you guys get in the ring and you guys fight and y'all exchange punches and y'all give it all y'all have.
Hmm.
But when there's already a relationship there built, and I'm just speaking for me, I can't speak for everybody else. Uh, but when there's already a relationship built there and you guys, uh, it ain't just a competitive uh, relationship you guys have, there's more of like a brothership. There's no way I'll punch my brother for the world to see. Like, especially if I know I have to go in here and actually hurt him or change his life. Nah, we don't do that. Like I'll use for example, me and Jamal Charlo. We wasn't friends before we got in the ring. We wasn't
Hmm.
cool before we got in the ring. But after we got in the ring and after we finished fighting, then we became good with each other. But before that, no. After he and me and Jamal fought, see, there was a competitive nature between he and I. So even though we're friends and we're good, there's a competitive nature between him and myself.
Yeah.
And of course, he would like to see and show that he's much better at trying to best me the best way he could. And of course, I'm looking very much forward to getting back in the ring with somebody like him that I shared the ring with, to show him how much I've improved, to show the world how much I've improved, but most importantly, to show self how much I've improved.
Absolutely. I think I have two different questions that are going to split the convo in two different directions. So I'll just start where we just ended. You mentioned Jamal Charlo. I think you guys even recently sparred at some time. Him, like, I think getting ready for Benavides, if I'm not correct.
No, he wasn't getting ready for Benavides.
It was,
Jamal was preparing for Sergey
was it Sergey?
Tavchenko.
Oh, so it was way back then. Okay. I'm mixing my
Yeah,
timelines up. Okay. Well, regardless, I know that you guys have now like shared the ring outside of like in front, and you guys built a great brotherhood from that.
yeah.
Is it safe to say, and this could be biased, that there's rumors, we don't know who Canelo's opponent is, right? But there is that hope that maybe Jamal can get that Canelo fight, and if so, I know it'll be a rooting bias, so we don't have to pick who you think will win, but just how do you think Jamal will be able to give Canelo problems with his jab and his size and his IQ?
Well, just those three things right there. I can't go by Jamal fighting Canelo by comparing his fight with me because when Jamal and myself fought, I had an injury that we kept quiet, and it made me alter my fight plan. Jamal is a good fighter. He and his brother, they're good fighters. They have everything to be where they are. Uh, but I like Canelo. Canelo is one of my favorite fighters to watch in today's time. Right now, he's exciting. Jamal has the height advantage. He's athletic. Not only is he athletic, he has a boxing IQ. He has a Hall of Fame trainer, Ronnie Shield, who trains him, who's gonna go over everything properly. He's been there. He's seen Canelo fight. He's seen Canelo styles of fighting in the ring. I think Ronnie Shield would prepare him the best way he possibly could to prepare to fight against a Canelo. But I honestly, I think he would have to be on his A game. He would have to not make many mistakes. From
Mhm.
me and Jamal fighting, and then me and Jamal sparring, and sparring and fighting are two total different things. But me being in the ring, sharing that many rounds with him, and as competitive as he and I was, and as competitive as the sparring was, uh, I honestly, I believe that Jamal would have to be very mature in his game plan at trying to best a Canelo.
Okay. I mean, and just on my last question on that thing, it's just like we all know Canelo hits, we know Jamal Charlo hits. Would you safe to assume, right? Because you obviously can't be accurate in the sense that Jamal may be one of, if not, maybe one of the hardest punchers he'll face, and may be, or is it? It's just hard to tell.
Yeah, I was about to say it's extremely hard to tell. Reason why I say that is because neither one of these guys are slouches, but Bivol is. I had the opportunity of actually prepping Bivol to fight Canelo. I
Wait, you
was his
sparred?
I was his main sparring partner. I was a
Oh,
guy. I
stop it.
Go ask him. Go ask Bivol himself. He sent me a video thanking me. Him, his whole team, they watched me. They were in awe to see he and me and him spar. It was very competitive, very technical. Uh, it was fun. It was extremely fun sparring against a guy who is as big as he is, but who can move as well as he can move. And you know, and just to put myself up against a world class fighter like that at 175, it was very challenging for me. I had to adapt and get used to the weight. I had to adapt to get used to so many things, but he had to adapt to get used to my height and what I brought to the table. And by far, I'm not gonna lie to you, Bivol was one of the most technical sparring sessions that I've had my whole career.
Wow.
uh, and he had all the tools. He have all the tools. He's strong enough. He's fast enough. He's agile enough. He's smart enough. You know, he's where he's at for a reason. Bivol is, and when him and Canelo fought, he fought that style and made it look that way because of how he prepped and how he carries himself, how he conducts himself, and what they train on and what he focuses on. He has great focus.
So you might be the blueprint for Jamal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I definitely got to ask this now, right? Because I got my guy, Lonnie B. We did a couple of interviews recently, and he sparred Beterbiev. I mean, he's like Beterbiev washes everybody. I mean, he's the machine, yada, yada. And so I have to ask, because Bivol, Beterbiev, undisputed. I mean, obviously there's going to be a little skewed bias because he's been in the ring with, Lonnie's going to be all about Beterbiev. But in your honest opinion, I think a lot of
And
people
my
picking Beterbiev. Are you picking Bivol in this sense?
I would look, and I don't want to sound biased because I've trained with Bivol. but I just think that his footwork and his distance and his timing is a little underrated, and you have to have a little bit of you have to have a quickness about you, and you have to be deceptive. And it's gonna be hard for man. I do not want to hack his name. Beterbiev.
Artur
I'm
better.
gonna just call him Better B. I'm gonna just call him Better B. Ain't
You can
better
just
to
call
be,
him.
but Better B.
You can say
Um,
Arthur. That's easier.
yeah,
His
I'm gonna
first
call
name.
him Art. All right, then we're gonna go by his first name, Art. I honestly think that, of course, he has a puncher's chance, and he has more than a puncher's chance. I just think that if he comes in and he's a little too slow, he won't be able to catch up. You saw a guy in
Hmm.
Canelo who's not slow. He's not slow. Canelo's quick enough, and that's why he's winning. His timing, he's quick enough. And Arthur, I think he's he gonna have to show a different side of him. Yeah, he's a lot bigger, so the distance is a lot different from a guy who's 5'8", 5'7", versus a guy who's 6 foot just like you. But when a guy is 6 foot just like you, they're not punching upwards, then that distance and that timing is a little different, because now you have a guy who's throwing punches on even grounds, and the guy who's throwing punches, his body, his frame is a little bigger. So if a guy is sitting there in front of this guy, Arthur, then I think Arthur is able to, touch you up and let you feel why he's a champion. And versus a guy who's not going to sit right there, a guy who's going to be looking to move, or looking to grab, like tying you up, punching you at the proper time, trying not to smother his punches, trying to smother your punches. And a lot of people, like I said, it's not paying attention to a lot of stuff that Demetrius is doing, but he's real technical, excuse me, at what he does. And I think eventually that fight will make people kind of look at how technical of a guy he is versus him just being, you know, uh, the kind of fighter that he is.
Okay. I mean, I'll play devil's advocate in this sense so that I can understand more in depth of his technical side, right?
Yeah.
I've heard things like, Bivol is um he's a mover, and Beterbiev's great at cutting off the ring technically as well, and he's able to land powerful shots. And because I guess in comparison to Joe Smith, when Beterbiev got him out in 2 rounds, Joe Smith was able to land a shot to kind of wobble Bivol. And I know it's like any shot, it can hurt any fighter, right? Bivol essentially can land a
Uh-huh.
shot to hurt. But just do you think that at some point, because of a come pressure fighter, that with all the technical movement, that if Arthur actually gets to Bivol, like what can Bivol do in that instance in a short, close combat space?
Uh, you know, if you ask Demetrius who his favorite fighter is, I don't know if you guys ever had the opportunity of asking him, but I have, and he said Floyd Mayweather, Sugar Ray Leonard. He
Ooh.
named, bro, when he named these fighters, I just smiled. I looked, I smiled. Andre Ward, when he was naming these guys, come on, bro. He haven't had the opportunity to show why these guys are his favorite fighters. Uh, all the fighters that I'm naming on the inside, bro, they knew how to fight. When me and him was on the inside, uh, when we were sparring and we were prepping, I noticed the moment that he felt that if I had the edge on the inside, oh, clinch mob. He grabbed me, tied me up, very strategically smart, and hold me until the referee will say break. Then he'll break, and he'll break with his hands up. Like he wouldn't break ignorant. He wouldn't break with his hands down. Uh, and he would try to definitely work me on the inside. And the moment that whenever he felt that he was at a disadvantage, or the playing field was a little too even, he was definitely either he was clinching me. It was the way how he was escaping those situations that made it so challenging but fun for me when we were up in there working. And that's why I say, man, like I brought he brought a better side out of me out. I almost said Arthur's name, and I bet I brought a better side of him out for that sparring, because his team, they just was like, look, man, when you spar, we don't want you to spar like Canelo. We don't want you to. We want you to stay to your identity because I was doing a little bit of Canelo and they was laughing. Everybody liked it. They was like, yo, you do move like him, but respectfully, we think you're quicker than he is. We think you're a little faster on your feet, and we want to take advantage of that. Canelo likes to sit down and punch and sit on his punches. He like to hit you in the arms, and it's like if you could do that while keeping your identity, could you please make that happen? So I did. I did what was asked. It was easy. Just be me, and that's why I say it was extremely challenging. It was extremely fun. But when you watched him fight against Canelo, it didn't look as challenging as it was for him in there. Like a fight is a fight, and I know he felt Canelo's punching power, and he felt Canelo's a man in front of him. He felt what Canelo is, who he is. But because of his preparation, how he was able to work and keep that distance and keep Canelo guessing, uh, I kind of feel like he's gonna have that kind of success in doing so against Arthur.
All right, well, perfect. I want to segue back to you now, because it's really about 2024, you getting active and just kind of looking at the landscape. I know you fought at 160, but you realistically is a 154 pounder. Is it safe to say that this is where you'll be at?
Yeah, this is where I would like to fight at. People who know me is like, no, man, he's a 147 pounder who refuses to make the weight. They could be right, but I feel more comfortable fighting that 154.
It's all good, man.
Uh,
Like Devin just moved up. He's saying he ain't going down to 135. Like you just gotta
yeah,
grow.
yeah. It's not only that. It's just I'm my anatomy. I'm muscular. Me dropping a lot of muscle. People, a lot of people tell me, yo, you could do it. Well, I haven't met them. I've been training with me, and it never feels too good. Once I get the lowest I've ever gotten down to was like 151. I never tried 47, but I just got down to 151, and
Mhm.
I was trying to make 154. And the weigh-in was a little longer than it should have than anticipated. I got on the scale, I was 151. I feel comfortable fighting at 154. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, perfect. And the reason
But I
why,
ain't scared of
because
nobody at 160. Let's just make that clear. 154, 160, they all the same thing to me. I fought at both of them. I fought one of the top middleweights in the world in Jamal. I fought in a couple of fights at 160, and I fight 154. I'll fight anybody at 154 as well.
yeah, which was maybe a potential in a month, the new 154 champ. So it's go time. And so
Yeah.
the reason why I'm asking just because like just probably like a road that you have to come back, right? Like I know ideally you would love to face Tim Tszyu, right? I know that you would
Yeah.
love to face, Jamel maybe, or is that kind of like a weird situation because of Jamal? Like,
No, it ain't.
okay,
Like I was just saying, like me and even me and Jamal, we're competitive, but that's it. We're competitive, so
got
I
it.
can get in the ring with Jamal. Jamel, my relationship with Jamal isn't my relationship with
Mm,
Jamel. I do like Jamel as a fighter. I like how he don't back down. The last fight between him and Canelo. Um, I can't speak up upon what was going through his mind, but it looked like it didn't, it didn't, whatever's going through his mind didn't match the game plan.
right.
I could say that much. But no, man, Jamel is one of the top fighters at 154, and this is why we do it. I want to fight, the names you just named. I would love to fight Jamel if opportunity presents itself, or whomever else wants to call themselves the man of the hour. You know what I'm saying? The man of the year, the man who
Yes.
thinks he's the man.
Yeah.
I would love to fight those guys. This is what we here for. This is why we want to do it. Uh, and I believe I'll have opportunity to prove that.
Mhm. And the reason why, because like that probably takes like a couple fights to get into it. So like, who do you like realistically? I don't know if there's certain names like a Xander Zayas or Jesus Ramos or Brian Mendoza who recently fought Tim. Like, is there certain guys like Virgil Ortiz? Like, I'm just winging out names that might be sensible, if you kind of get, or like Elijah Garcia. Like, are these type of names that you're looking at that? maybe we can come back and hopefully one of these wins can bounce you into a title contention?
Uh, no. Uh, like not at all. I would love to fight whomever is the guy, whoever's that man, whoever is the guy that can put me in that position. I never study fighters. Really, I don't study. My trainers around me, they study today's fighters, but me, I never really pay attention
So you
to
didn't know
the
any of the
guy.
names like I
I know a
said?
few of the names.
Okay, okay. Well, I mean, like that's I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I just
Yeah, no,
because
but I don't. One thing that always kept me fresh mentally was me not too worrying about the fighters that's in my bracket or who's supposed to be.
Mhm.
I truly believe it's a gift and a curse. It could be a good thing for a guy who's looking at everybody because he wants to fight everybody because but me, it doesn't matter who I fight. Unfortunately, but fortunately, I grew up fighting. And it wasn't boxing for me. It wasn't. Oh, this is the procedures through amateurs. And nah, I grew up street fighting. A fight is a fight. I'm not. It doesn't matter. You put the guy in front of me. You know what I'm saying? I kind of still got that little bit of a street mentality, like where, you know, uh, I'm just looking to fight against whomever they put up against me, whoever they think is supposed to be the man. Uh, I don't go by the numbers. If he's in the top 10 and he just cracked the top 10, I've saw me being in the boxing world. Uh, in 2014, I was bumped at 160 into the top 10 of the middleweight as being a middleweight. And I fought in a Boxino tournament right before I fought Willie Monroe. And shout out to Willie. Willie's a good fighter. He's one of the fighters who actually helped developed me after I kept studying our fight. I started to watch what he did. I learned from what he was doing to me and how he was able to maneuver and win a crowd over everything. It was very professional uh, at what he was doing and what he was able to accomplish when he and I fought. Going back to what I was just saying, though, like ultimately, man, just boxing, you could easily be ranked. And like I'm not gonna say I didn't deserve it, but I just fought like one or two fights in middleweight and boom, just like that, I was in the top 10. And I was just like, I was happy. I was very young, but I was extremely happy. Did I feel I deserve it? I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, man, I feel like I need to fight more. I need to fight. I need to You're talking to somebody who only had 5 amateur fights, and I'm harder on myself than anybody ever thought that they were harder. Like when it comes to how hard people are on me, I criticize myself the most. So I didn't think that I was at that moment of my career. I didn't think that I was deserving when I knew it was more guys fighting, had way more fights, way more experience than me. That was like around my excuse me, hello.
I'm here.
Yeah, my
No.
bad. Somebody's calling. But that was like around my 13th fight, and I was already in the top 10. I didn't think that. I thought that maybe potentially in a few fights later, that's where I belong. But at that moment, no, I didn't think that I belonged. And I was easily just placed in the top 10. So, being placed in the top 10 and all of that, I don't know how it works. And it's none of, I'm just a fighter. But for me, I didn't think that I was placed there properly at that time. Now I do believe, whatever rank that I'm at or that I'm going to get myself to, I deserve it because I'm working hard for it, and I just didn't have that same mentality back when. So I'm only saying that to say that when fighters get caught up in those numbers, they can get caught up in a web. You could be number one and still never fight number two, or you could be number one and still never fight the champion. Uh,
Yeah.
that's not for me to say. I just want to fight anybody in that top 5, top 3, so I can get there. Because I know how I fight. I'm a fight. It's fan friendly.
Mhm.
Somebody's gonna be getting blasted, whether it be me or them. I do a pretty good. I'm defensively. you know, I do pretty well for myself, so I don't take too much punishment. I think my work will speak for itself when I get in the top, you know, top 3, top 5, or wherever I need to be put to showcase my skills so we can progress with my career.
Of course, you know, and that landscape is completely changing with Tim being the new WBO. You know, I think Madrimov is fighting Megamed. The name's a little rough,
Mega
but that's
mind, huh?
yeah. Or like someone might say like Mega Man. And I know that Boychek is facing Fedor, which obviously you asked one of them out. So probably the one that's probably has the most attention right now in the division is going to be that Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman fight. Did it catch you off guard a little bit? It's kind of like reminiscent of like when you kind of jumped up and fought Jamal. So I mean, Tim's jumping up and fighting Tim. So I mean, any
Yeah,
predictions?
man. Ain't no telling, dude. Keith Thurman, very skilled fighter, especially going back. He a great. He's underrated at fighting going back.
Hmm.
Uh, but honestly, I think size wise, Keith Thurman is smaller, and that's gonna play a big part in this fight. Keith Thurman is a guy who's fighting at 47. Uh, Tim Tszyu is 54, but you know he's a bigger guy. So I think if it goes rounds, later on in the rounds, he's going to impose his size, man. He's going to impose his will on Keith, and he's going to wear Keith out. Unless Keith, you know what I'm saying, bring back that one time and that one punch and get the job done.
Yeah.
I don't really see. Yeah, honestly, I think that's about to be you know, a very tough fight for Thurman. But if Thurman wins, that's going to be crazy because then that's just going to switch everything all over.
Yeah, and that's when you go on social media and say, "I want Keith Thurman," right? That's
Bring it back one time, you know what I'm saying? Him and his lip. Tell him we need to fight. I like that.
awesome, perfect. So I know it's Cannon Nation, and you know, I obviously just wanted to touch bases to kind of see how you're doing. I know the Wise Owl boxing press release is coming up. It came out, and so I'm assuming some big things is coming for you, and
Yeah.
just leaving the floor to you for the fans and anyone out there, any last message that what you can tell and what they can expect. Hopefully, assuming maybe you have a date or something in the works.
Yeah, we working on a date. Uh we working on making something big happen. Where you're not gonna see me just one time. You're gonna
That's
see
just throwing
me.
shots, low key,
Yeah,
right
no, I ain't throwing no shots.
there.
No, I ain't throwing no shots. You ain't gonna see me, yo. I'm just saying because I'm excited about it. You'll be able to see me fight more than just once this year. And I do everything that I'm supposed to do, like I know I can. Uh, you'll see me in the better fights next year. You'll see me fighting against the top fighters, you know, the brand names of boxing. And I'll get what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I get what I'm asking for, and that's to fight the best.
Awesome, champ. Well, where can they find you on social media if they want to get a little bit more of the Cannon Nation?
You said it best. It's Cannon Nation. Cannon Nation. You can find me, Cannon Nation. You can hit up my Instagram on Cannon Nation Boxing. That's my gym Instagram. I don't have Twitter fingers or X, or whatever it's called these days, but it's BA to Cannon. I rarely use Facebook, but it's Cannon Nation on Facebook too. Uh, yeah, man. But if you really looking to get in touch with me, you know what I'm saying, pull up at the gym. I'm always there.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Oh, most definitely. I appreciate you guys and your time.